Hey, welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that's never been bombed by the United States of America. I'm the ashes of a dead child in a can.
Oh my God. I'm Avery, and that is the saddest thing. Oh my God.
This week we watched The Mask 2.
No. Isn't French Stewart in The Mask 2? Do you know who French Stewart is?
He squints a lot. He's in Third Rock from the Sun.
Yes, it's that guy.
Great show.
Is it?
Yeah, I love Third Rock from the Sun. John Lithgow.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember anything about that show except that French Stewart is in it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a child.
Whoa, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird show. And Newman, of course.
Yeah, of course. And
absolutely
also
Newman.
known as Dennis Nedry. Also known as
Wayne Knight. Bruce Wayne, the
Bruce
Dark Knight's
Wayne.
little brother. Bruce Wayne Knight.
Exactly. Yeah. So we watched Grave of the Fireflies, and it was the literal most sad thing I have ever seen. Ever. Just
It's
ever.
so fucked up.
It was like I watched it with Sid, and as it was going on, Sid was just like, why did Ash make us watch this? Like, what kind of like dark scheme was he playing? And the answer is we couldn't figure it out.
I have no ulterior motives. I just want you to go through the pain I went through when I was 8 years old and found this movie in the Hollywood video store.
That was like cinematic torture. That was the saddest thing.
It's like a child when I saw that movie.
It's like, it was so beautiful too. Like the story was great and all the animation was amazing. But holy crap. Yeah, great music. I watched the subbed version, which I think is probably superior. I'm glad I ended up watching that one.
Yeah, it's a 1988 film, so it's a pretty old movie. I'm sure. Let me look this up.
Yeah, 88. I wonder if they were even dubbing things that far back. I mean, they probably were.
I don't know if
but
Studio Ghibli was doing
dubs yet.
Releases here, even.
Maybe not. They've been around for a while. They've been doing stuff since the 90s like that. Yeah. I'd say probably.
So they did Castle in the Sky, Graveyard of the Fireflies. The next one to come out was My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, I've seen My Neighbor Totoro. So I think that those are some of the ones that they released later, around like in the early 2000s, once they got really popular maybe. Because I looked everywhere and I couldn't find a dubbed version, because sometimes when I'm watching movies, I miss things if it's just subs. So, but I was pretty focused on this because of the sheer horror.
And it's only an hour 26.
Yeah, it was like tastefully short, but like it felt like a 4-hour movie because it was just this slow burn of like sadness.
Yeah, and then they just give you little whispers of hope. Fun fact, they actually released Grave of the Fireflies and My Neighbor Totoro as like a double feature.
Oh, interesting. In the US?
So, no, when it was released, I don't know about in the US, but they definitely did it. Let's see. Yeah, no, in Japan, that's what they did.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that happened here too, like later after the fact. I wonder if we could find out when the first Ghibli release in the United States was, because it might have just been here. First Ghibli release, US. Release, US. Let's see. Studio Ghibli. It was founded in 1985. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind was the first one.
Great
Okay.
one.
I actually haven't seen that one.
That was really fun, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough call. Because I think Princess Mononoke came out in like 1997 or something, but it didn't get to the US until like 99. Most notably with Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. I can't find it. This is a whole article. I don't feel like reading it. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. Fuck you, Hayao Miyazaki. Oh wait, no.
Wow.
Sorry.
like the Walt Disney of Japanese animation. Yeah.
I don't think he's as anti-Semitic.
I don't think he's as anti-Semitic, but I think he's just as prolific.
Wait, what did Walt Disney even look like?
Kind of like an anti-Semite, I think. Walt Disney image.
Ugh. He's a creepy little porno stash.
Yeah, I know. He does. He kind of looks like an anti-Semite, doesn't he?
He kind of looks like, what if Hitler grew his mustaches all the way out?
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So is it just a rumor that he was a noted anti-Semite, or is that like actually true?
I don't know. Jewish people have told me it, and so I'm like, I agree, my Jewish brethren.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that sounds kind of biased, but
maybe.
I didn't know him.
I wasn't alive. Yeah, I wasn't alive when he was alive. I'd have to look into it in a little more detail before I accuse him.
Yeah, like I wonder if it's like it was a thing that he would say in private, like hanging out with people. He'd be like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say anything, but like, yeah. Or if it was something like he publicly like denounced Jewish people. That's what I'm like wondering. Really, it was just like a rumor. Like, yeah, he says some bad shit.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe like one of those 1930s cartoons with Mickey Mouse. There's just like a Jewish character from Nazi propaganda.
Oh my God, no, there's not.
Just in the back, just rubbing his hands together in front of a pile of money. I'm just like, oh, jeez.
Like, yikes. It's really a metaphor. Don't worry, kids. It's not.
The Jewish conspiracy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we watched this week, because I guess watched things this week.
So the entire premise behind this social experiment that Ash has put me through is to find out whether or not a movie can make me cry. And I came pretty close. I didn't cry. And I will tell you, since we're going to get into some expectations, I expected this to be like any other like Studio Ghibli film, when it's just like cute and like it's for kids and like it's nice and some dark stuff happens, but like it's uplifting at the end, and at the end it leaves you like hanging a little bit on a question mark. This was not like that at all. This was not like that. Things just progressively got worse and worse.
I don't know what I said that made you think like, oh, it's happy. Like, this is a wartime movie about World War II in Japan and about orphans.
But also, like, there's like that Ghibli movies tend to have that like level of mysticism. Do you know what I mean? Like spiritual things happen. And I guess some spiritual stuff does happen in this with like the fireflies, like representing hope, I'm pretty sure is what they were going for. But like at the same time, like this was just a slow burn of like, there was no divine intervention in this, you know, or any mystical intervention, by like, they didn't meet spirits and they didn't like, you know what I mean?
Well, they were resurrected and hung out with fireflies after they both died.
Oh, maybe I missed that then.
That happens at the beginning of the film. So they kind of start in media res where she's already dead.
Yeah.
And he dies, and then they're like, they see each other. It's like, it's very weird to start the movie like that. But
so it really kind of started at the end. Well, it did start at the end, because the first scene is him. He's dying on the side of the street, and the like can of the gummies falls out of his pocket, and or like the cop who finds him, and he goes, "Oh, not another one." Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I actually didn't catch that, and it totally makes sense now that I'm seeing it. Yeah.
It's the nice way of going.
That is kind of sweet.
Die. But,
yeah.
But then you're still like, no, they're gonna be fine, right?
Yeah. Well, you know. Yeah. So
I was not looking forward to watching this movie, I will say.
Yeah.
I put it off until we were supposed to record yesterday, but we didn't, and so I'm just like, why am I soaking in my tears?
I don't have anyone to talk to about it.
Or just for no reason.
Yeah, I watched this. I can't remember what night it was, but it was after I was already pretty tired. I had gotten off of work, but I came home and I was like, I'm going to watch a nice animated film. It's going to uplift my spirits. And it ended up not uplifting my spirits at all. I would get like flashes of like bad stuff in the movie happening. Like for like the next 2 days, I was like, oh my God, that was so sad.
Real sad movie.
Yeah.
It was the first. We've never really done a really sad movie before.
Like actually like evoking an emotional response from me that isn't, this is awesome and explosions. You know?
I mean, there were explosions.
There were, but they were very sad. They weren't awesome by any means. Were they awesome? You know? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what my expectations were. I was expecting it to be like a little bit more uplifting, but instead it wasn't. Instead, it was very sad. So thanks for that.
No problem. That was my goal. Before we get into pros and cons, did you watch anything new this week?
Oh, you know what? Good question. I wanted to leap into talking about stuff really quickly. I'm trying to think. I definitely watched some stuff. I tried to watch Altered Carbon on Netflix. And
I've never made it more than 30 seconds into it before going,
I watched the first episode, and like everything in the first episode is so cool. And I'm like, this is rad. Like, this looks awesome. And then like the time the second episode comes around, it's just like Law and Order in the future. It's like really boring. He's just a detective. It's just like Law and Order in the future. Yeah, I think it wants to do the whole cyberpunk like transhumanism type thing, like. And I'm sure it does that fine if you watch, like, I don't have a very good opinion of the entire show because I really gave up pretty quickly. But, like, from what I saw, it just seemed kind of not my thing. And I've talked to other people who have been like, yeah, not so good. I'm like, okay. But I watched that. I also started to watch Heat yesterday. And, like, the first like half of
Chad,
the first half of the movie is pretty fucking awesome. Like, all the guns sound really cool. Like, I don't know what it is, whatever they did in like post to like make those gunshot noises, they sound fucking awesome. But like halfway through the movie, it like slumps, and there's a whole bunch of actors who look really similar. And it's like kind of like, except for Val Kilmer, who is wearing the worst hair extensions. It's like shocking. But yeah, he kind of boring in the middle. Lots of cool explosions. 10 out of 10.
Nice.
There you go. This was our Heat review.
Thanks.
You did it. Thanks. What about you, Ash? What have you watched?
I've started watching Umbrella Academy at the behest of someone who had never seen it but had it recommended to her. It's very middling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I like the power set stuff because it is about like superheroes. There's a guy who's Bullseye.
Really?
There's a guy. Yeah. There's just a Bullseye guy. There's a guy who is very strong. There's a woman who basically can tell you what she's Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, where she can just tell you something and you do it. There's Teleport Kid, Nightcrawler.
Teleport Kid. Yeah.
There's a kid with demon inside him who they are immediately like, he's dead and you don't get to see that. Fuck you.
Wow.
There's a guy from Misfits who is just never wearing enough clothing, which is fine. It's for, it's not for me. I get it. It's just not for me. And he can talk to the dead people and he has a heroin addiction. I'm like, wow, it was really great when you did that in Haunting of Hill House with a character I believed.
And apparently the same set, huh?
Yeah, like they definitely used the foyer of the Hill House, and I'm like, they just covered some walls up with paneling. It does not look good. Speaking of not looking good, I don't know if this show looks good or not. Very strong guy looks like he's wearing 30 t-shirts. Like
that's how they did the effect.
It's like that's literally what it looks like. And then there's a talking monkey who looks like he's straight out of the new Planet of the Apes. And
yeah, so that's like the still that's on the Netflix thing. You know what I mean? When you like scroll over it and you see the image, and then if you stay on it too long, it starts talking really loudly and wakes up everybody in your apartment building. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that the still is that monkey, and I'm like, ugh, I don't know. Talking monkeys are usually a no-go for me.
Oh, and then Ellen Page, who doesn't have powers, but I'm guessing actually does have powers, because why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Because she's the only name brand actor besides guy who does drugs.
Yeah. So they're gonna have her powers.
Yeah, like the basic story is like a bunch of a bunch of children are born on this random day, but the people who gave birth to them weren't pregnant at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, that's like the ad.
And then the eccentric billionaire buys like 7 of them and tries to make a superhero force, and then the world's gonna end, and it's up to
the superhero guys. Yeah, Classic story.
It's Misfits, it's Titans, it's just so many shows, and I don't know if it's good or not. No idea.
Yeah, I've heard some people like really think it's awesome, and some people like tell me exactly that. Like, I think it's
a Dark Horse comic originally.
Yeah, so that's the singer from My Chemical Romance's comic company.
Oh, it's what's his face?
Gerard Way is his name.
Gerard Way. Does Gerard Way owns Dark Horse? That doesn't sound right.
I think he created Dark Horse. Gerard Way. I think so. I think
the guys from Portland who did Dark Horse.
Is it? Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe he just gets his comic he makes produced through
Mike Richardson. I know that he also made PDR
released by Dark Horse Comics. Okay, so it's like an independent comic studio or something.
Yeah, they're out of Oregon.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Mike Richardson. But then like Gerard Way also made Penny Parker.
I don't know what Penny Parker is at all.
That's the one who has the giant spider robot in Spider-Verse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure he also made that one.
Oh, so cool. That's really weird. All right. I'm kind of into that. Tight. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like one of the more unique ones in that into the Spider-Verse, except for maybe Spider Noir. Everybody, the breakout star.
This breakout star, Spiders Man.
I love Spiders Man. Just like millions of sentient spiders who believe that they're Peter Parker.
It just sounds like what like a grandfather would say.
It's Spiders Man.
You ever read of those Spiders Man comics? It's Spider-Man, Grandpa. You're an idiot. And then you like kick him because he's old.
Yeah, and he falls
not contributing
over.
anything to society.
That's
and it's because of your grandfather that these children die in Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh my God. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's like
let's talk prose.
So there's a lot of really great stuff about this movie. Overall, this movie's great. Like it's
a good movie.
Absolutely horrific, but it's great. Beautiful animation. I'm just going to start right there. I mean, like Studio Ghibli does not goof around when it comes to animation. It looks so good. And you can tell that it's like classical animation too. Like they did it the old fashioned way because you could see like the stuttering that you see a lot in like older animation where it's like their movements aren't very smooth. It's at a lower frame rate because I think they film it at like 24 frames per second. But like they probably hand drew this entire movie. There was so many like paintings in the background that they put the character cells over top of that looked so good.
Oh, like those little caves, that kind of area.
Yes, exactly.
Like the open rice fields.
The rice fields. It all just like evoked this like really, really great sense of the world of rural Japan in the 1940s. Like you understood where it was. Very beautiful.
Kobe, I think it was.
Kobe.
Place.
Interesting.
Kobe, Japan. Oh man, okay. One, like they have so many little subtle things that I love about this movie. Number one, they don't do like the big bomb.
Yeah, they don't.
And like they just did
the
about,
small fire bombs. Yeah.
Yeah. Even those affect people. They never like name drop the U.S.
Never.
Which is like an interesting choice.
Although they do show you the symbolism, like the U.S. symbols on the planes. And I wonder if not name dropping the U.S. was a like marketing ploy to like market this movie to the Americans. You know what I mean? Because the Americans are framed as villains in this. Because what the Americans did during World War II was pretty fucking villainous. And so it's like, at least when it comes to Japan, in other parts of the world, it's pretty redemptive.
That hero, Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm alluding to.
Oh my God, help.
No. But they focus mostly on the firebombing, which is like almost like worse. It's really horrific. I was kind of waiting, like I was ready for the the big bomb to drop. I was like, this is going to happen and it's going to wipe out the entire city or something like that. But they do show them like rooting through the rubble at a certain point earlier on in the movie. And I don't know if that's supposed to like allude to the big bomb being dropped. But I mean, like, the war ends halfway through this movie. And like our main characters go and talk to like locals and they're like, didn't you hear? The war's over. Like, everything's done. Yeah. So pretty
we surrendered.
Yeah.
Pretty intense. Just like all the theme stuff. Like, there's this character in the film who basically takes these children in after their mom gets all fucked up from the firebombing really early in the movie. And she has like this very, like, it almost shows the weakness of nationalism, because like she's basically like, if you're not fighting and serving the country, like, do you really deserve food? They both die from malnutrition, and it's basically they can't live with this woman because she's like basically taking their stuff to feed herself and her family, and it's like very manipulative, and it's like real fucked up.
And so like they're being used for a period of time. They even end up selling their mother's clothes to buy like several pounds of rice. You know what I mean? And
she takes like a good chunk of it.
Yeah, and makes like rice cakes for like her whole family and stuff like that, and herself. And so it comes to a point where these two characters, they're like, we're just not going to do this anymore. And they leave. And she's just like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, where are you going to go? And they end up living in a bomb shelter that's like down the hill or like a little ways away. And it's almost like a hopeful scene. Like, it's really sweet. Almost.
They collect all those fireflies and release them for light and like lay down in this cave.
And it's like really kind of cute.
It is. It's kind of nice. You know, they go out to the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
And just the way that they slowly show like, well, like this girl's got like weird splotches on her body and they're like slowly cropping up more and more. She's like sick. And it's like, ugh.
And not getting better. And
not getting better. Ugh.
Yeah. And it's really emotional, like very powerful in that way, because it is like really slow. You notice it over time, like they're getting skinnier and less healthy looking and things like that. And then like the highlight of the movie is when I don't know, should I spoil this yet or should we wait until?
Is it a pro?
It's a pro. It's definitely a pro, because it was very, very moving and very like, oh my God, this is so sad. But yeah, like the part when he comes back and doing all this looting in the town when the firebombing is happening, he's just going and stealing things when people are away because it's the only way he can feed them. And he comes back and sees that his little sister, who's like, she's probably what, like 4 or 5.
I think she's pretty young. How old is she supposed to? I think maybe something 6. I don't know. But
so she's like eating dirt and like swallowing what she thinks are candies. You know what I mean?
They're like buttons. Yeah. That's actually like that's after he gets like actual money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he like finds out that his father like gave them like $7,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and his father's also dead. That part was really, really tough to watch.
That's when I like realized like this kid is like, I kind of like had a feeling when they showed like the scabs she was getting and things like that, like this little girl's gonna die at some point in this movie. But then that was when it was like, oh my goodness, this is really sad. Yeah,
for me, like the most like powerful sad moment was like this boy basically knew that his mom had died and was hiding it from his little sister for so long. And after they go out and all the fireflies, they collect them, and then the next day they're all dead. Like his little sister basically starts burying them, and she said, well, mom's in a grave, you know, auntie told me. And you just see this look go over his face and just amazing animation of like, I'd been holding this all together for my little sister and she's known, and now I can finally let myself feel. And he just starts just bawling, and I'm like, oh.
That is an amazing part of that movie. And while I didn't actually produce tears during this movie, I'm not like a crier in general. That was the moment, specifically when she was burying the fireflies, that I was like, this is really, really sad. And like, I could feel it. I could feel it happening. Like my ancient tear ducts welling up.
It's like dust pouring out of your eyes.
Exactly.
As Sid's just like,
Yeah, that was so brutal. Like parts like there were so many parts like that, but that was the one specifically. Very sad.
Very sad.
But yeah, so many pros to this movie. It's like almost like the whole story is so well structured, and it like sets you up, and like they're almost in an okay place at the beginning. Like they're leaving their house before it gets bombed, right? And and he runs in because he hears like the alarms going off and picks up his sister, and they're running through the town and figuring out what they can do, and going like they end up like after they find out that their mother is, or he finds out that their mother is dead. Like there's this part where like his mother's all wrapped up in bandages because her skin is just burned. Just terrible burns.
Yeah, and her eyes, she's like asleep, but her eyes are like twitching in this very creepy, realistic way.
Yeah, that art was so incredible. It was like it was mortifying. It was like
she was almost animated differently, like than every other individual in that scene. It was crazy.
Yeah, like they put a lot of work into the detail of that, but there's like almost this insane futility to that part because he says to the nurses taking care of his mother, like while she's dying, that like he says she needs her heart medication or something like that, which is just totally like not even on their list of concerns at a certain
point.
Like
taking care of her at like an elementary school.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad.
Yep.
Very sad.
And like there's a part where you see like there's bugs and stuff like crawling on the mother like after she passes, and it's horrific. This movie has some really brutal, like not for the faint of heart moments, and that was one of them for me for sure. So
yeah, it's just generally a tough movie. It's gonna be hard for me to listen to my Studio Ghibli lo-fi hip hop remixes at work because like they do this one, and I'm like, oh god,
just bringing those emotions all back because this soundtrack was so good. There's so much about this movie. It fit like the whole theme very well. And I had this like twinkling hope to it at a lot of parts. And then like during the really dramatic scenes, they would just cut the music out entirely, which was like really cool. So like it really highlighted the moments like that because they did feel hope at certain times, like when they would get food or when they would like the Fireflies are a great example, even though they're living in a dirt hole, you know, so. Very sad.
It's actually based on a real autobiographical story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like the person who wrote it didn't die, but like it was written to try and make amends to their little sister who died.
Okay, interesting.
During the war. So yeah, it's very different than most of the other Studio Ghibli films, although
very different.
I will say that like the most recent one, which is about like flight and like flying around, I didn't see it. Yeah, I mean like it
definitely differs.
It's different.
It definitely differs a lot from other Studio Ghibli movies. I think in general there's like this childlike wonderment with like a dark, like almost like Monster in the Closet kind of scariness to Ghibli movies, like, but there's always like redemption, like I was saying earlier, like there's always like this like hopeful like prettiness at the end where everything goes back to normal and mom and dad are okay, just like in Spirited Away. But there's like some horrible scary things that happen in that movie, but like it is a kids movie, and so the good is highlighted more than the scary bad things, I think. But this is not like that at all. I wouldn't call this a kid's movie.
No, absolutely. I mean, like, I don't know. I definitely cried in specific, like, emotion. I cry a lot at movies. I love to cry at a movie. It's great. You're missing out. But like, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, even Princess Mononoke, like, they have very moving, touching moments that come from, like, a child. Like, just even Spirited Away, the notion of not, like losing your parents and forgetting what they look like, and just the idea of like what that means. Forgot about that. Like that's super emotional, and I think he always sneaks those in, whereas this is kind of the inverse, where it's like he brings in like the hope and like relationship of like sibling love and surviving for one another and protecting and looking out for one another, because like she looks out for him too, like coming after him after he gets the absolute shit beat out of him for stealing someone's sugar cane and taken to the cops. Like she's just like waiting outside for him, and like just like how much they care for each other. And even when she's dying, she's like got rocks and she's like, I made you like rice cakes. Like it's very sad movie, but it still has like that lump of heart. Love
there's a lot of love in there for sure.
It's not fucking Requiem for a Dream where you're just like, oh,
like
this
absolute
is just a bummer.
Just absolute despair with like amongst deplorable people. Like these people were very cute and there was a lot of love between them, which really is, I think, the focus of the movie. Not necessarily the death aspect, but that these two characters they're going through this together, and even when things are really terrible, they find joy in very simple things because it's all they have. And I think that's a very sweet point to this movie. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, do we have any cons? Because
I do not like them starting the movie with the death of the older brother and going to like weird spirit heaven at the beginning, because it's like you have no context for it.
I didn't even know that that's what was going on until you mentioned it. I must have missed that completely because I think it really set up a precedent. Like the fact that the older brother even just being alone at the beginning of the movie really set it up. Like the little sister's going to die. It becomes very predictable that this is going to be about this little sister dying. This basically the whole movie was about that. And I was kind of worried that it was going to come into a point where the little sister just becomes a burden, so he ditches her. I was like really worried that that's what was going to happen. And I was like, is it going to be one of those stories? And it ended up not being like that, which is great. He was like there for her until the very end, still trying to provide. But I didn't like that they started with the older brother alone dying. And
like he like the ashes and the tin thing. Because like while I got that, like I got like the symbolism that they were trying to give, I don't know. I guess it made it less bleak to kind of see that's where it was starting, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I liked it from a storytelling perspective.
Okay. I can agree with you there. I didn't really like how the ending was very truncated. So it basically ends with the little sister dies, and it kind of just goes right into, he's like, well, what am I going to do? My little sister died. So he buys a casket or a cremation casket type thing. And he just buys that, and then he cremates his little sister. And then it ends on a line of, I never went back to the bunker. And that's like the end of the movie. And
it's like, yeah, we know we saw you die.
Yeah, like
at the beginning of this movie.
It's kind of good that they didn't prolong the movie for another 20 minutes and like show his struggles over the next like however long, probably a month, or something like that, as just like a final kick in the groin at the end of this depressing movie, watching him like go along and just get like degrade farther and farther. But the ending felt very truncated. It could have like ended on a hopeful note, and it didn't really, except for the fact that he does die and then eventually ascends to the spirit world or whatever you want to call it with his sister and the Fireflies, which I think was a very sweet point.
I mean, I liked what they were doing with that, and it was beautiful in its own way. I think it would have been more effective at the end of that long journey. But I understand how pacing could have been a problem there as well. Yeah.
I think like from a contextual standpoint, they could have started the movie without him dying at the beginning and just showed him with his sister in the spirit world and alluded to the fact like things are really good right now, and then immediately cut to the bombing. And then you wouldn't know necessarily if they were in the spirit world together with the Fireflies or if that was just the place that they were at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and then that would give it, like the audience wouldn't necessarily know that the Fireflies, like, oh, they're just like, oh, they love fireflies, and like this has been a thing with them because it kind of seemed like that anyway. And then they could kind of bring it full circle at the end.
Yeah, I think that would have like wrapped it up a little more tightly. There's a little bit at the beginning to trim, and then maybe a little bit more at the end that they could have added.
It was a short movie. Like they could have, yeah,
they could have thrown in another 10 minutes, and it would have been very effective, I think. But I mean, like that's such a like light con. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's hardly even a con.
Did a couple weird things like that, though. Like, there's the one scene on the train where, like, he's sitting amongst a lot of people, and then, like, further down the train, he's actually sitting with his sister.
Yeah.
Like, very weird shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were going for there.
I think that was when I turned to Sid, and I was like, what is happening exactly? Like, what exactly is going on? And, you know, you can't get everything.
A little artsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for. And then, but that was when he was going into the town to find out that they actually had money, which turned out to be of no use because you can't eat money. And like in a war-torn country, the economy's completely collapsed and everybody's farming subsistence or like subsistence farming. So you have to trade something of value for food, and money has no value, and they had nothing else to trade for the food. So he begins to steal, which is like just so sad. That's like when you know like it's going wrong.
Yeah, and it's really a really just poignant commentary on like the unsung harmed people in war.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not about the troops. Like it's like this is not like gotta respect the troops movie. It's not fucking American Sniper.
Yeah.
This is like, what about the innocent bystanders? What about the children who just like
and are like virtually forgotten, except by the people who cared about them?
And it's not like it's not like kids who get shot even. It's like kids who everything that the war does to everything around them. Yeah, like
just totally drags
they're not killed
people
by
down.
Soldiers.
You don't even see soldiers in this movie.
No.
Like, I don't think there's a single shot. Photo. Yeah, you see like a photo and you see like naval ships. And that's it. And like...
And maybe like reserves or whatever. Yeah. Like brown shirts.
Yeah, you see like their uniforms or something like that. In this military that's probably like fractured and just like cut off. And because I think like, isn't the youngest son, or not the youngest son, but isn't the older brother, was he in the military? Like, was he in the Navy and then like left? Or was that just his father's like Navy clothes that he wore because he emulated his father?
Yeah, I think it's his father's
clothes. Like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The surrogate mother, the temporary adopted mother, like was just like, you got to get strong so you can fight in the war,
right?
And like
that makes
he
sense.
seemed like he wanted that, but then he slowly didn't. I think.
Slowly couldn't. He just couldn't even support himself, and he had to support his younger sister because he couldn't just join the army and then leave his sister with that woman who clearly didn't care. You know, but then at the same time, that woman who took them in, if you think about it, she was just trying to survive herself. She was kind of selfish, but you know, at the same time, it's like it's when the infrastructure around you falls apart. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, are you gonna care for these kids that you sort of know, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even about that with her, at least the way that she was presenting it. I mean, she might have just been using an excuse, but she was just like, oh yeah, she works in the factories to help like with the country. And like, therefore she deserves food, like my daughter or whatever. Yeah. And I just like, that's like the really fucked up part.
Yeah, like, it's fucked up. I agree.
It was super fucked up. But the director has said it's not an anti-war movie, to which I say, you lying piece of shit.
I don't know. It's kind of an anti-war movie. It's like almost like it's a war movie that isn't about the war.
No,
you know?
It's about everything that the war does that isn't the war.
Which is a really creative, like very unique story, which I think is cool, because movies that are about wars tend to be about troops, like you said. They tend to be about like the people that are literally in the trenches, and this isn't like that at all. It's a very creative
good guy and a bad guy.
Yeah, there's no clear good guy, or the bad guy is like starvation in this movie. Yeah, so nebulous, and I think that's like a really cool, I've never seen a movie like this in my whole life. Yeah, it was very moving. Cool movie. Yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. Like I'm struggling to come up with more cons. It's very, very. There's not a lot of bad things to say about this movie. It's beautiful. The soundtrack is great. The animation is incredible. Some of like the actual artistic like stills just look amazing. Like all of like the spirit world Firefly type stuff, all of that stuff, it was like all misty and like, but it looked like this like warm, comfortable grove that they lived in, or like not necessarily lived in, but it like, you know, was supposed to represent the afterlife to some certain extent. And all of that looked beautiful. All of the stills, like I'm just like running it over my head, and that's like that Ghibli sheen that they put on things. Yeah. It's like, you know what I mean?
Hey, Charlie Sheen's little brother,
Ghibli Sheen. Hey, what's up, guys?
His Japanese cousin.
Like, it's really beautiful. They do such a good job. Like, things to come out of that, absolutely great. Now, was this directed by Miyazaki? Or helmed by Miyazaki? Because I don't think Miyazaki owns Studio Ghibli. I think he just was a director hired by the studio.
So it's Isao Takahata, who died last year.
Oh, wow.
At 82.
Oh.
Let me see here. Where you at, girl?
Let's see.
Show me your crack, girl. I bet it ain't whack, girl. That was my favorite line from the movie.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki, not at all associated with this one.
Okay, interesting. So which ones did he? Because I know he did Princess Mononoke, which is my favorite. My favorite one. I think we should watch that at some point.
Totally down. Totally down.
Because there he is, Hayao Miyazaki. Look at him. Wow, he's 78.
Yeah, he gonna die soon.
No, don't even say that. That's terrible.
Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
Wow.
Nausicaa Valley of the Wind was him.
He looks pretty good for 78. That's in 2008 though. That's more than 10 years ago.
He did Castle in the Sky, which is a great one. Howl's Moving Castle. Who did that one?
Was he alive during World War II? Now that I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was less than. Yeah. He also did Howl's Moving Castle. I think he did Spirited Away as well. I think My Neighbor Totoro. I think he did Ponyo, because he just became like the guy. I think after Spirited
Away was really big. That was the early 2000s though, man. Like he's been the guy for a while. Yeah, that's crazy. And
My Neighbor Totoro looks like it was Nausicaa Valley of the Wind and My Neighbor Totoro were like his early ones.
Yeah, and he did
because Totoro and Graveyard of the Fireflies came out the same like month.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, cool. Yeah, I think he's great. I think he's really great. He really is like the Walt Disney of Japan. It's crazy. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it looks like he worked for...
This is my last movie.
Wait, what's that?
He keeps saying this is my last movie, but it's like never his last movie. Now he's got a 2020.
He clearly release. Loves it, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he worked for Toei Animation, which I think did a whole bunch of movies that we would probably know. Well, I don't know, maybe not. I'm looking at these now and I don't recognize any. But
so he was barely alive in World War II. He
probably born.
He was born in 41.
Oh yeah, so he probably vaguely remembers some of it, but I can't imagine. It's kind of crazy that like Japan had such a like insane economic boom after that war.
Oh, right? Castle of Cagliostro.
Which one's that?
Cagliostro. Sorry, that's a Lupin the Third movie.
A Lupin the Third movie?
Yeah. So that's like one of the, like a big older manga, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That was like his first movie.
What year did this come out?
Also, that one came out in 1979.
Jesus. It's crazy that like animation like this like exists that far back, you know? Because it looks so modern, like anime just in general. But it's like gone through several iterations, I guess. It's very hyper stylized now, but back in these days, like such absolutely. A unique like animation style. Looks so like clearly not American, you know?
Yeah, and it's like it's really cool because it's the one animation style from Japan that doesn't have like the, I guess, pitfalls of anime.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where it's like, yeah, like anime is cool, I guess. Like it's not really for me, but I understand why people like it. But it does have its pitfalls. Miyazaki just doesn't.
Yeah,
he's just like, great. And all of Studio Ghibli are just like, it's amazing.
I find that there's a lot of like pulpy anime that comes out that doesn't really have anything to say. You know what I mean? It's just like it exists. Like I'm thinking of like Sword Art Online. Right?
Sounds like the name of an anime.
Yeah, like stuff like that has nothing to say really, I don't think. And yeah, but like Miyazaki films and Studio Ghibli films in general actually have an underlying theme, which is important to movies and feature films, you know, not serialized manga, but that's what I think.
Should we get into, what do you want to do? Do we have announcement picks?
Let's do our pros or not our pros and cons. Let's do our ratings and reviews, and then we'll announce our picks afterwards. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. So Ash, do you have 5 words? What would you rate this, and would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Yeah, 5 words. Avery didn't cry. Heartless. POS.
POS is 3 words. Doesn't count.
Okay. Avery didn't cry. Heartless bastard.
All right, fair enough. I'll take that.
Okay. Yes, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
That totally fits within the rules.
Yeah, no, this movie, it's hard to say whether or not I recommend it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You in a really good place? I don't want to tear you down. You in a bad place? I don't want to bring you any lower. Are you in a medium place? This movie might be for you.
All right.
This movie's fantastic. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And honestly, only watch this if you're like in the middle. If you're very neutral. Don't watch it if you're too high or too low.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So for me, I got 5 words. This is the saddest movie ever. It's so sad. I've never seen anything just this bleak before. I've seen some pretty bleak movies, and I look for bleak films often because I think they like actually evoke like emotion in me. But this like very, very sad. Like almost like unparalleled levels of sadness.
Yeah, I'm impressed I didn't cry during the episode. If I'm being honest with you.
I'm gonna say, as far as a recommendation goes, this movie, if you're passionate about Japanese animation, if you're passionate about really great storytelling with a ton of heart, 100% you need to watch this, because this is like a classic. It was incredible. I mean, like probably one of my favorite movies we've watched on the show yet. Jurassic Park notwithstanding, because that's my favorite movie ever. Put that one off to the side. You mean this movie gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Beautiful. I think it's almost, it's so like close to being perfect that the issues that I have with it are purely like structural that I think are just basically negligible. I would say that it's perfect in its own, in its self-contained nature. It's very perfect. It's a little redundant, but I mean, like, it's perfect. Yeah, totally watch this. Like it's gonna tear you down.
I don't know why I half recommended it. I'm like,
it's gonna tear you down. No, but you're not gonna regret it at the end. And there's no regret going into watching this movie. Not for me at all. It's very sad, but I loved it. And
like, if we're being frank, Felipe, you really need to be taken down a notch. You've been riding too high. You piece of shit.
Exactly.
Oppa Gangnam Style. Right?
Yeah. You know, that Japanese saying. Yeah. So that's what I think. This movie's great. Thank you for like making me watch this. Like seriously, I would have never like sought this out on my own. To be honest, I would have like heard it recommended and then read the description and would have been like, I'm not going to watch that. Like this doesn't seem like it's my kind of movie at all. And that's why I don't think I would ever watch it on my own accord. But like having you like set it up for me like that, absolutely glad I saw it. So that's what I think.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think I killed my recommendations between this and Barely Lethal, the obviously superior film, but we'll talk about that later.
The thing I think is funny is that like our ratings and our recommendation system just totally don't fucking matter at all anymore because
or make sense.
make any sense because we'll recommend movies that are terrible and we'll not recommend movies that are amazing. We're like, don't watch it. Skip it. Yeah. So we have more episodes coming for you guys in March. We're
that's how it works.
Yeah.
We release one every week.
We release one every week. If you haven't heard one of these episodes from us before, we like to on the last episode of every month announce our picks for the rest of the entire month. So we're looking at March right now. I think we only have 4 weeks in March, right?
If you guys want to watch along, I know we have certain fans who definitely do.
Yeah.
It's a fun. It's like a book club, but without stupid fucking books.
Yeah, exactly. Because fuck books, right?
Yeah. # fuck books.
Yeah. So we like to do that. We like to put this information out for you guys like early on, so you can watch along. Because that's fun too.
Plan accordingly.
Yeah, because we're always picking out new movies, and we have a very broad selection. I think we're very good at picking things that are all over the place. Good, bad.
Yeah, it's been
animation, not
ugly.
animation. Ugly movies.
Yeah, like The Crimes of Grindelwald. Or Venom.
Oh yeah, Venom was ugly. Crimes of Grindelwald had its redeeming moments. Okay,
yeah,
it's bad, but it's
World of Warcraft. Fucking.
Oh my god, the Warcraft. Oh yeah, the cat things. Oh my god, that movie is terrible.
Oh, those two.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah.
I actually watched Venom on the plane ride home from Austin.
You sick bastard. Why did you see? Why?
I cried more than fucking Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh
it's the
my
elevation.
God. Yeah, it's the elevation. You cry faster. It's not a thing.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
It's 100% a thing.
What? No, it's not.
The altitude and the pressure make it like you more susceptible to crying during a movie.
No, I guess
it's 100% a thing.
I guess they could. All right. Okay. Fine. But we do have picks.
Also, the kind of soda they serve you. Oh, okay. I was just gonna make stuff up after that. Yeah, we have one pick each this month.
We do.
I think it's going Avery, predetermined movie.
Asher,
me.
Predetermined
movies.
Movies. That's right. We got a double feature for you guys this month.
Ooh, I'm doing the I Dream of Jeannie, like fold arms, nod head.
We're doing all
blink.
9 seasons of the Brady Bunch.
Spoiler alert.
God, doesn't that sound like just the worst? We'd be like working on it for months.
We like they always have like the X-Files files or something like that. We should be called like the Brady Brunch, where we eat brunch and talk about an episode of the Brady Bunch every week until we fucking die.
That's like that's actually a great idea for a really bad podcast.
It's like an internet show. It has 3 views on YouTube.
Yeah, the Brady Brunch. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy.
So I guess I'm going to start because my pick is first. And I got a weird one. A really, really weird one. Okay. And this
Seen it.
This is, I don't think so. This movie's been re-released several times. Or here, let me find out exactly which one because there's a couple different versions. I think this one came out, in 1996. Narrowing it down a little bit. Okay. We're going to watch for the first week of March a little movie called The Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It came out in 1996. The plot is basically an English UN negotiator becomes stranded in the tropics with a mad scientist who makes half-human beasts.
Isn't that the plot of Spy Kids 2?
I think it might be. It's pretty similar, right? They make the thumb people. It's an H.G. Wells book that came out in 1896, and it's been adapted to film.
I love H.G. Wells.
Yeah, several times. This movie has an all-star cast. It stars Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, and 2 other people who I don't recognize. But Val Kilmer's in this movie.
More like Val Kill Me. Am I right?
This is going to be so terrible.
You're gonna have to find this film for me because I'm not even gonna put it in my internet history.
Yeah, I'm gonna see, because Sydney and I were looking for it last night because we were like, this sounds so bad, we should watch it. And I was like, maybe I could just make Ash watch it, and then we'll have a reason to find it.
You're a bad guy.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad. The production was notoriously difficult, and the film was a box office bomb that received mostly negative reviews.
Except for Armand White,
Who loved it. You're probably right.
He thought it was a great metaphor for
99
race relations.
99 negative reviews and 1 positive review from Armand White.
I'm writing this on my typewriter.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And posting it in the men's bathroom. At, I don't know, some funny place.
Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is gonna be so bad. I've never seen this movie, by the way. I want you to know that. This is one that I've never seen before.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie. I heard about it literally last night. I was gonna pick something different that like was a little more in line with my interests, but then I saw this and I was like, this sounds like just an abomination of a movie. Like, this sounds really terrible. So I was like, we're gonna watch that. That sounds like more fun.
Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's gonna be really bad. So get ready. The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1996. We are watching it. Directed by...
All right, the next week, I'm doing the next one.
All right.
I want to do the next one.
Okay.
This is mine.
Yeah, I know how
Captain
excited.
Marvel.
Yes, we're doing Captain Marvel. We've been talking about it for like
apparently
6 months.
Yeah, well, we've had no other movies. Apparently, Ben Mendelsohn's incredible. Yeah, it's looking really great. And, I'm so excited. It's going to be so bombastic and fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good.
I think it's really going to make me ballsy, and I think I will try and punch a jet out of the sky.
That's awesome. I'm surprised you haven't
after
already.
watching the movie.
You were just on a plane. You didn't try that?
If we get 100 new reviews on iTunes, I will try and punch a plane out of the sky.
A lofty goal, but we can do it. Get it lofty like a plane.
Yeah.
Suck it, listeners. Anyway.
Absolutely suck it.
Great.
You know what you're doing. Anyway.
You have, I guess I'll you announce your pick, and then I'll talk about our final.
Our double feature.
Double feature for the end of the month. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I've been trying. So, okay. How long was Infinity War?
Like 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like 2:40. And I've tried to make us watch television programs before, but we've never gotten like a full story arc.
Okay.
But I finally found one.
Okay.
Because it's coming in the entire season. It's a British show, 8 episodes long, each one about 22 minutes. So it comes in at about 2 hours 40 for the entire season.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Very manageable, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It is about a teenager who thinks he's a sociopath, convinces a girl or that he's in love with her or that they're in love, runs away with her as he tries to hone in on his first kill.
Okay.
It's called The End of the Fucking World. It's up on Netflix.
Oh, tight. I actually
it's a really great British show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. And also might make you cry.
All right. That's good.
Because I think it's sad too.
All right, cool. Actually, I've wanted to watch this for a little bit, and I'm glad that I didn't. Because now we can review it
Now
here.
you have a reason.
Yeah, our last pick for the month of March. Basically, there's a new film coming out. It's going to come out at the end of March, directed by Jordan Peele, who directed Get Out, which I haven't seen yet. So I'm actually looking forward to it because it'll give me, not that I don't have a reason to see that movie, but you know,
it's a good movie.
we do now. We're doing a double feature for you guys. We're doing Get Out and the film that's coming out in March called Us, also directed by Jordan Peele. We're going to go see that in the theaters and give you a review. It's going to be a double feature. We're trying to structure it a little bit differently. Last time we did a double feature, we just did like one long episode that was really 2 long episodes. And so I think we're going to split it up on like a Tuesday, Thursday for you guys rather than do something along those lines. But that is where we're at. Us and Get Out and Us.
Okay, so what's the name of the first movie? Because I'm going to forget it 1,000 times.
Get Out and Us.
No, for the month.
Oh, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Island of Dr. Moreau, Captain Marvel, End of the Fucking World, Get Out, and Us.
Yeah, it's going to be a eclectic month. I think we're all over the place.
Oh, we're getting into that fun time of year for movies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
It's really starting to ramp up. Captain Marvel's really the first big blockbuster I think that's coming out. Well, I guess you could kind of argue that Alita Battle Angel was really the beginning of the summer movie thing. That's very much a summer movie that came out in February.
When does Shazam come out?
Probably April
5th.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good.
I
think we're gonna review Shazam. I'm pretty sure we're going to.
All right, Avery. We can only review either Shazam or Aladdin. We can only see one.
Do they come out the same week?
No, I just don't want to watch both.
For you guys, we're gonna do another double feature: Shazam and
Aladdin. Oh my god, that one's May 24th.
Oh, okay, cool. So
it's a full month after.
All right.
Oh my god.
Plenty of time to watch it then.
I'm absolutely terrified to see this movie.
Yep, it's gonna be bad, and we're gonna have to. We're probably gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
But that's it. That is it.
But I can't wait. Maybe they'll have an Instagram filter so we can both have our faces genified.
Oh God, maybe, or maybe not. We'll see.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's our stuff coming up for you for the next month. That's a review of Grave of the Fireflies. We want to thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week with our review of The Island of Dr. Moreau.
See, even you can't remember it.
Yeah, it's a very forgettable title for what is probably going to be a forgettable film, because I've never heard anything about this movie until last night, and Val Kilmer's in it. So get ready.
I'm going to say Val Kilmer so many times.
I always get Val Kilmer and Jean-Claude Van Damme confused because they look really similar. Except,
which one does the splits more?
I don't. Probably Jean-Claude Van Damme, I think. Val Kilmer's like from LA, and Jean-Claude Van Damme's from like Sweden, France, like some like European place. Something like that, right? Where's he from?
Yeah.
Oh, he's from Belgium. One of those forgettable countries.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, chocolate boy. He's a little Bavarian chocolate boy. He's always like doing the splits.
Spicy, saucy chocolate boy.
What are you talking about? I don't have a stinger to say at the end of this one because I do not speak Japanese, and I'm very worried about ending the episode.
Yeah, you might accidentally say like a food item, right? You know, like when people get tattoos that have like Asian languages, and the tattoo artist just like puts like spicy chicken fried rice.
Yeah, I have 3 of them personally.
Good. Well, you got them on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm big into food.
All right. Well, we're just going to end it by saying bye, I think. And we'll talk to you guys next time. We love you.
Bye. 女の子は泳いでいます。